Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? This is Professor Jason, your guide to Spanish. In today's quick video lesson topic, what I want to talk about is how to form the imperfect or past subjunctive in Spanish. This is the subjunctive tense or the forms that we would use when the main clause, has a verb that triggers the subjunctive but that is conjugated in a past tense, such as the preterite or the imperfect. So, what do the forms look like in the dependent clause or the subordinate clause where we have the past or imperfect subjunctive? Let's take a look at how to form those. All right, so in order to conjugate in the imperfect or past subjunctive, what you do is you begin with the ustedes or ellos form, okay, of your verb in the preterite, okay? Ustedes, ellos form of the verb in the preterite. When I refer to this form, we're talking about this position down here, right? They, ellos, and in the preterite. So, for example, you start with, say you have an AR verb, like cantar, okay? You're going to start with the third person plural of the preterite, cantaron, okay? Let's try an ER verb, like vender, to sell, vendieron. Now you may have to go back and review the preterite tense, right? You can't conjugate in the imperfect or past subjunctive if you don't have a good grasp of the preterite tense. Let's try an IR verb, vivir, to live, just so you can see a little bit of difference here. Vivieron, again, third person plural of the preterite. The next step is that you remove the final two letters, O-N, okay, O-N, and you add the following endings, okay? You add the following endings. For the yo form, it's a. For the to form, it's as. For the usted, él, ella, a. Nosotros, amos. Vosotros, ais. Y ustedes, or ellos, third person plural form, is an. And you're going to add these whether the verb is an AR, ER, or IR, or even irregular, which we'll get to a few examples of those in a second. Okay, so it's going to be cantara, vendiera, viviera, or tú cantaras, that you sold, vendieras, and vivieras, etc. Okay, so that's how you form the regular verbs. Let's take a look at some irregulars because I want to show that it follows the exact same formula. So say you have an irregular verb like ser, or an irregular verb like hacer. A couple other examples here that are common. Estar, tener, or even something like traer or saber. Now the reason I'm saying that these are irregular in this tense is because they have irregular stems or irregular forms in the preterite. So again, we begin with our third person plural of the preterite, which happens to be fueron, for ser. Hacer is hicieron. Again, there's that irregular stem. Estar is estuvieron. Irregular stem there. Tener is tuvieron. Irregular stem. Traer also has an irregular stem. Trajeron. Okay? And saber is supieron. Supieron. Is that right? No. Supieron. Okay? Supieron. I totally screwed that one up. Let me rewrite that. Saber, to know, to find out. Supieron. Okay, so these all are irregular in some way. The last 5 or 6 there, the last 5 have irregular stems. Okay, I guess all of them do. So what we do is follow the exact same procedure. Take off the final O-N and add those endings, right? Add those endings that I showed you on the last frame there. So, fuera, hiciera, estuviera, tuviera, trajera, supieran, okay, etc. Or fueras, fuéramos, hiciera, hicieras, hicieran, etc. Okay, so that's how those are formed. And by the way, when you say these forms, you do stress the second to last syllable, and that's important for pronunciation, right? So you're going to say fuera, hicieras, estuviéramos, estuviéramos, okay? Tuviera, trajera, supierais, vosotros, for example, supierais. Okay, so you stress that second to last vowel. All right, so that's the forms. Remember, third person, just to recap on the forms, third person, plural in the preterite. Okay, so we have a verb like bailar. Go to the third person plural of the preterite, bailaron. Remove the on, like that, and then add those endings, right? Okay? Bailara, bailara, stress second to last syllable. Bailara, bailáramos, bailarais, bailaran. That's the imperfect subjunctive forms. Now just a couple of quick examples so you can see those, how they might be in a little bit longer sentences, right? So I'm going to write down some examples. Remember that the verb that triggers the subjunctive comes in the first clause, right? But since it's in the past tense, right, if the verb in the first clause is in a past tense, we use the imperfect or past subjunctive. Let me give you an example in the present tense, okay, so you can just see how that works. Like if I wanted to say, Juan quiere que, there's our first clause, Ana baile, present subjunctive, con él. Okay, this is again in the present tense. Present tense verb in the main clause, que, which tells you a subordinate clause is coming up. Ana baile, present subjunctive. So what I'm saying is if we're going to take this verb here and put it in the imperfect or preterite, right, to talk about a situation in the past, he wanted, quería que, like last night or last week, Ana, now we're going to conjugate this one in the imperfect subjunctive. Doing that by, I'm going to go through the whole formula here. Bailaron, remove that. Bailara con él. Juan quería que Ana bailara con él. Juan quería que Ana bailara con él. A couple other examples. Okay, they didn't want it to rain. Ellos no querían que to rain. Again, going to the third person plural of the preterite, llovieron, which is a form that you would never see since this is an impersonal verb, but lloviera. Ellos no querían que lloviera. Okay? How about I hoped that you would be at home? Yo esperaba, okay, esperaba que tú, and I'm going to use the verb estar. Go to the third person plural of the preterite in my mind, right? And then add the ending for tú. So, I hoped, yo esperaba que tú estuvieras en casa. Remember to stress the second to last vowel when you say it. Yo esperaba que tú estuvieras en casa. A couple more examples and we'll be done, okay? They asked us to bring the wine. We're going to have two verbs here, right? They asked and to bring. So, ellos nos pidieron, they asked us, que, and we're going to go to our third person plural of the preterite, trajeron, remove that, trajéramos el vino. The nosotros form in the past subjunctive has an accent. Ellos nos pidieron que trajéramos el vino. Okay. Final example. Javier told me to leave. Two verbs. Decir, told me to leave. Irse. Okay. Javier me dijo, he told me, que, okay, me fuera. Again, that comes from fueron, removing that and adding the yo form ending. Javier me dijo que me fuera. Okay? All right. All right. I hope that that presentation of the forms, how to conjugate in the imperfect or past subjunctive, is going to be helpful and beneficial for you. This has been Professor Jason. As always, I look forward to your questions, suggestions, and comments. So please take a moment and leave a comment on this video. Let me know what you thought. And I'll see you at the next quick video lesson. This has been Professor Jason, your guide to Spanish. Hasta pronto. Ciao.